The insider of the bunch joins us on Wednesday to share insight from the world. On Insider, today I am honored to have this beautiful lady in the studio. We have actress Carson Allen in the studio. Hello.
Hello.
You do not know how happy I am that you speak English.
Really?
But I do want you to introduce yourself. So you can say it in Korean and in English if you like. But yeah, just introduce yourself to our listeners.
Okay, I'll just do it in English. Hi, my name is Carson Allen. I currently live in Korea and work as an actress. It's so nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. All right, so we need to do the basics. As a foreigner in Korea, you will be asked this question probably until you leave Korea.
Until I die.
Yeah. Exactly. So what brought you to Korea? You know, like all that stuff. How long have you been here? All that. So let's start with how long have you been in Korea?
I think I was just trying to do the math. Sometimes I get confused about exactly how long. I think it's going to be, so in 2020, but in the fall, it will be 12 years.
12 years. I thought you were about to say 3 or 4 years. But
No,
12 years.
yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, so 12 years ago, and you're doing the calculation, 12 years ago, what brought you to this part of the world?
So actually, I kind of have like a unique case, I feel like, from other people, because I feel like most people, they have this like urge and dream to like move to Korea. But for me, I came here because of my family and my dad's job. So I came here when I was pretty young. I get confused with the age too. International age, I believe it is 12 years old.
Okay. I love how you're doing that.
Sometimes I get confused because if I'm like, oh, it's 13, but was that the Korean age or the
American age? Yeah.
Pretty sure it was 12. Don't check me on that though. And so I came here with like really nothing, I had a really open mind. I lived here a comfortable life. And I feel like I really like fell in love with living here. And I basically grew up here kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like those tween years of yours where you spend that is kind of how it shapes your adulthood.
Okay.
So I basically grew up here.
Okay.
Third world country kid, whatever you call it, you know.
Okay, so where did you live before you got here?
So I actually lived for an extensive time in Japan.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm a fake American is what I say. I'm an American with an American passport, but I'm not like your typical American.
So your dad is in the military? Or?
Yes.
Okay, so you're an Army brat.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say that because I'm an Army brat too. Oh. There we go. Yay! And you can only say an Army brat when you are an Army brat.
Yes.
If somebody else says that, it's offensive.
It is.
Okay, so obviously that's why you were kind of going back and forth and being shipped places. And so he was serving in that, hence the like long or short amount of time in a certain area.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's complicated, but there's multiple bases in Korea. And so he did technically move from a base to a base, but within the country. So that's why we were here for so long. Me and my family. And he also did a deployment while we were here. So that's why I just kept extending the time. And so I think me and my family were here for a little over 5 years, 5.5 years.
Okay, so after all of that, I mean, there was probably coming to a time where if we do a rough calculation, you're about to like graduate high school, you already have. And now it's probably time to shift again. Are we going to follow dad or are we going to stay behind? So you stayed behind?
No, I was taken against my will. I was basically forced. We moved the year I graduated. So I literally graduated and then the end of that summer is when my family moved back to the U.S. And I think I lasted about 9 or 10 months in the U.S. I even went to a university for a bit of time. And I think my parents could really see how I was suffering a little bit with depression. I had gained like 10 pounds, 11 pounds in a very short amount of time. And when I told them, I think I do want to move back to Korea. I want to do what I originally said I wanted to do. At that point, they were like, well, you tried our way and you're obviously unhappy, so we'll let you go.
Okay. So what was that move back? Because if you were here with your family and like with the bases and everything, then you probably either lived on or near base. And like all of that is mostly taken care of. But now as you move back, like it's a whole new process of living in Korea as a foreigner.
It is. I was pretty shocked. I came here quite confident thinking, I speak good Korean and this and that. But I had no idea really what it meant to live in Korea, without a family and your parents' money. And, I had no idea this concept of key money and, how to get an apartment, how to get a part-time job. None of this. I didn't even, realize how difficult it was going to be coming back on my own.
Okay. So you came back and your ultimate goal was to
go to university and pursue my dreams of kind of entertainment and, being an actress in Korea.
Okay, so acting in Korea was kind of the ultimate goal.
It was, but it wasn't really something I ever thought was really possible. I mean, it's been a lot of years since I came back in 2014.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's taken a lot of years for me to even get the little crumb of success that I have now. But I always wanted to do something in entertainment.
Okay. So what was that like? I mean, there were a few years and, like you're saying, you already said like part-time jobs and all of that. So were you looking at agents or like agencies or companies? Like, how was that? Because I know that for a lot of our even listeners, like the K-pop scene is, I think, a little bit more well-known, like the training system, how to audition. They have auditions. But for the actors, there's not a lot of stuff. Like even Korean actors, like they have to go out and, give their portfolios to different agencies and stuff like that. So how did that kind of help for you?
Well, at first, just through knowing agents. So you there's a lot of like online websites that you can like find agents and stuff. So I was just giving my profiles to agents. And at first, as far as like acting goes, I was doing just a lot of extra work.
Okay.
I was doing a lot of extra work. And then I met one agent who's a very like famous agency in Korea for foreign casting in dramas and movies. And a couple times there were like really, really short, like one-liner roles. And she was like, "Oh, Carson, you could do that. Can't you do that?" And I'd be like, yes, I could. I can. And she would, have me do my little one-liners here and there. And then in 2016 was the first time I ever saw an audition for something. So up until then, it was very, just whoever could do it will do it. If it's like a one-liner, it doesn't really matter, and I did a lot of extra work. And so it wasn't until then that I was like, oh, this could actually be a thing.
Okay. Wow. And was there like a particular drama that you were casted in or like you auditioned for or?
Yeah. So the very first audition that I saw was for a drama called The K2.
Oh.
And it was my first like big audition. We had like 3 rounds of auditions and I made it to the last with me and this other girl. And then in the end, I ended up getting it. And it was quite kind of a life-changing experience.
Okay. Wow. And so since then, you've just kind of like been doing odd jobs here and there and kind of building the portfolio of how many dramas and things that you've been in.
Yeah. So after that, I realized that I should probably, if there was going to be more auditions like this, I should be more prepared.
Yeah. Okay.
I should be more, trained in a sense. Because up until then, I had only done acting in like middle school and high school as like, like school club, And so at this point I was like, especially if I want to act in Korean, I should get lessons. So I started getting private lessons and eventually going to an academy and even going to like action schools. And so it kind of just like from there, I think I never really thought it was possible until that audition. And after that I was like, well, I'm going to try my hardest and my best. And then if anything ever comes up, I want to be the only one that they're like, oh, she's prepared. She's an actress. She knows what she's doing. So it kind of just took off from there.
Okay. So that one opportunity was able to put in your mind, like, I'm going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And look, all of our listeners are just saying that you're beautiful and you're just amazing and saying wow and hello. So we're going to find out a lot more about her today. Last year seemed to be a very busy year for you. So I did stalk you a little bit online. So from the top of my head, you were in Trap, you were in like Voice 3, you were in When the Camellia Blooms, you were into another one like
Spring Turns into Spring.
So you were busy last year.
Yeah, that also came as a huge surprise to me. Huge, because 2018 was a down year for me.
Okay.
Like, after all, 2016 is when it kind of started. In 2017, I worked really hard through 2018, and nothing really came out of it.
Okay.
I saw a lot of auditions, but at the time, and still today, a lot of Korean directors, they don't really think that a foreign actor kind of exists. They're just like, it doesn't matter if you can act or not act. You know, if you're going to be acting in English, we don't know what you're saying, so it doesn't matter. If you're going to be acting in Korean, we'll probably want you to do it in a bad accent. You know, so it doesn't matter. You know, for them, they don't really care. And so 2017, 2018 was just really like a lot of like rejections. A lot of people telling me, you know, you're too fat, you're too tall. You know, I would go to an audition for someone's ex-girlfriend and they're like, you know, you're kind of the same height as the male lead and he's a bodyguard. So if you make him look small, it takes away what his purpose is, you know, of being a bodyguard in the drama, you know. But 2019, that was a crazy year for me.
Last year was all over the place.
So crazy. I still don't believe that, you know, all of what happened.
And you've been seeing a lot of love. I mean, you were even on like a Korean talk show recently for like the popularity of When the Camellia Blooms.
Yeah.
How was that like? Because you did the show in Korean too. And it was like, you know, it's with the one that all the mamas and papas watch in the morning.
Yes.
So what was that like?
To be honest, it was a nightmare because it was live. Live TV was really nerve-wracking. And a few days before the live broadcasting, one of the writers had asked me, you know, to learn a dance, to perform a dance on the show for everyone.
Oh, wow.
And so that was a disaster.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's okay now. I can laugh about it. It's been a day or so.
It's one of those where I can kind of look back at myself and just laugh at that. Okay, so, I mean, the dramas that you've done, every single one of them was great. I loved your role when you were in Voice 3 because you played like a pretty daring role.
That was a role that kind of challenged me like no other role had done before. A lot of times, you know, as a foreign actress in Korea, you get a lot of simple roles, very, you know, 1 + 1 is 2. There's no thinking to the role. Even my role for The Camellia Blooms, where I love that role so much, it's not a complicated role. So for The Voice, it was something that even today, I think back to that role and I try to dissect the character and it's still difficult because that character was hard to understand and you can't play a character that you don't understand. And so it was difficult. I mean, the things she did, which were so bad in order to like get her child, which was kind of the story of the character, didn't really make sense in the way that, you know, if that happened to you, why would you do that to someone else? So you just had to I had to just really dig deep and think, you know, I'm blindsided, I'm tunneled vision, you know, all I care about is finding my child. And I don't care if I kidnap and murder other people's children.
As long
which
as I
sounds
find mine.
so crazy.
Yeah, as long as I find mine, which I feel that was kind of the point of the role. I feel like the Korean directors were probably trying to think that in the end, like there's no reason for anybody to do that, and that's probably why the role was so complicated. All right, fam, she's done tons of roles. There's tons of things to talk about today, so what you need to do is send in some more questions and messages for this beautiful lady. You've heard a little bit of her introduction. Now we're going to take a quick song break, come back, dissect a few of her roles, see if she had any fun on set, if there was any bloopers she wants to share with us too, so send those in. But in the meantime, it was really popular recently, so we have to kind of relive the drama again. John Park's track is 이상한 사람, Foolish Love, and we'll see you guys back after this with more of our Insider. All right, fam, it is the second hour of K-Poppin, and today for our Insider, we have the beautiful actress Carson in the studio. So we kind of got a little bit of a rundown of how you kind of came to Korea, how long you've been here, and now you're like an actress now, and you were really busy last year. So because When the Camellia Blooms was such a big drama domestically, it was also very big overseas. What was it like? You know, like give us the bloopers, the details. Is Kang Han that good looking in real life? You know, all those fun stories. You know what we want to hear. So tell us.
Tell us all the details.
Tell us all the details.
It's pretty crazy. When I first received the script and stuff for just the audition, I had no idea that it was gonna be such a big drama.
Well, you know, honestly, as like a viewer too, when I heard the casting, I was like, Kang Han? Because he had never really been like that big of a role.
Yeah, kind of the main.
Yeah, before he went to the military. And so I was like, oh, that's a little bit of a gamble. And then it started getting really popular. And then I watched the drama and I was like, oh, that's why everybody loves it. But yeah.
Yeah, it was really a really unique experience, even like on set. normally when I've like filmed other dramas and met other like big, I guess you would say like A-list celebrities, you know, most of the time they're very cut off and they have their separate waiting rooms and they eat in their car and, you know, you don't really see them until they pop up to do their like, you know, their lines. But for this drama, everybody was so just like a family. We were just all hanging out in one waiting room. I almost felt uncomfortable because I didn't know how to act. I'd never like spent so much time just like with Kong Hyo-jin, you know, just like sitting next to her and she's just like talking and I'm like, am I allowed to sit next to you?
Am I supposed to be here?
Yeah, because it was just so strange to me. Normally they're so, private.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think it's also because of just how the schedules are planned out. If like the drama is either behind schedule or if they're like on a tight schedule, I feel that a lot of drama sets, like they'll have everybody on standby in cars and then they're just like, come. And then like it's over.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This one was just very, I feel like almost just the way the drama felt when you watched it, just like relaxed. Everybody is a family. Everybody was so kind, so nice. Kodushim, you know, she was so kind to me because most of my scenes were with her. And she bought me food. She would bring tteok, you know, like she was so sweet, so kind. If her manager went to go get coffee, she would, you know, ask me what I wanted, you know, just so kind. It was amazing. Okay.
So it was really, it was a different experience for you.
Yes.
Okay. But I feel that maybe just like the on-set chemistry kind of probably went through the screen too.
Yeah.
With everybody being like a family. And so it did kind of
translate well. Yeah, everyone was so nice. Kang-ane, who would always talk to me, you know, Helena, you know, you're here. And, you know, he would sit down and talk to me. You know, he didn't want me to feel like
left out,
left out or anything. I mean, everybody, you know, talked to me. Nobody like, you know, was like, I'm too, you know what I mean? Like a lot of times you'll get that with celebrities where like, you know, I'm too high up here to talk to someone of your level. You know, it was nothing like that with anybody.
Okay.
Everybody was so sweet, so kind.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, when it comes to roles, I mean, in the States, in any different perspective, you would have an agent, they would look through roles, and then you would kind of either pick or choose if you were at a certain ranking. What's it like for you? When a script comes by, do you kind of look over a script and be like, oh, can I do this? Or is it just kind of given to you and then you just go to an audition?
It's usually just given to me.
Okay.
Like, foreign roles aren't that common. And when they are, they're usually very specific.
Okay.
You know, and so most of the times, I would say in the past, there were a lot more male roles than female roles, especially for movies. There's a lot of like gangster roles. There's a lot of mafia roles. There's a lot of military roles. And as a female, not a lot of movie roles available. So I just kind of wait around and wait. And then an agent will contact me and be like, hey, there's a female foreign role. You know, are you available this day to see an audition? So I just do a lot of waiting. You know, I can't create the characters myself. I just kind of wait for the, you know, contact to come and then I go.
Okay. So it's kind of like a modeling agency, I feel. Like
yes.
you're just kind of on standby and they're like, okay, we need you to walk for somebody, go to this audition, that kind of a thing. There was a question that came in from one of our listeners on our YouTube live stream. Have you auditioned outside of Korea for like any other roles overseas, like in the States or in other countries?
I have not.
Would that be an option?
I don't know. I'm nervous. People give me that question a lot. They're like, oh, have you ever auditioned for Hollywood? And I don't know. Hollywood, that's just such like a crazy concept to me. If I was to like move to Hollywood and audition in Hollywood. I know recently a lot of people that give me advice, they're like, you know, with Netflix, hopefully, you know, maybe soon there'll be something Netflix related, you know, in Korea that could kind of, because even though the Camila Blooms was on Netflix, it wasn't a Netflix original. And so they're like, hopefully maybe there's something that will kind of make that bridge for you to kind of, you know, because in the entertainment, it's all about who you know, and your connections. And I have zero of that in Hollywood. You know, all of my connections and the people that I know are all in Korea. So for even the concept of me just like trying to audition in Hollywood is kind of crazy.
Okay. For now, at least.
For now, at least.
Because, yeah, you have your foot, well, you're pretty much in the door now, not just your foot in the door. You're in the door. You're in the door now here. But yeah, to kind of do that, you would have to start knocking on doors and create that. For if you were to go overseas. You came here at a young age and you said you always wanted to be somehow in the entertainment. So was it like always going to be acting, or did you see something else that you wanted to do? Because I just with your posts on social media, I've noticed that you have a really deep love for like Korean culture and just like being here and all that stuff. So if let's say the acting thing didn't go well in 2016, what do you think you would have probably stuck with? Like, would you try to do more something of in the entertainment business, or would you maybe have created your own YouTube channel? Like, where do you see yourself if you didn't do well in 2016?
Oh, you mean 2019?
No, like just when you first started, like K2
when I
role.
first started. I don't know. I guess maybe I would have like made my own YouTube channel, maybe gone into radio or something, done something definitely entertainment related. But who's to say? I mean, my passion from like a young age was acting. So maybe I could have, gone to maybe I might have made that step or something. But I definitely think I would have still considered, pursuing acting for a little bit more, and not given up so quickly.
Okay. So even though that one big break was really good for you, you probably still would have stuck with it. Nice. Trying to show how much you love for acting and everything. Vicky was asking, do you prefer Korean auditions or English auditions?
That's a hard question. Sometimes when the role is in English, it's awkward. Because it's not, it's written for a Korean audience and it's written for a Korean drama or a Korean movie. Sometimes I feel like it's so random and, it doesn't really fit the scene. It's just always just so random that I prefer the Korean, for it to just be in Korean.
Sometimes when you see subtitles, you probably think that too. Because I feel the exact same thing.
I know, and I feel like that's why everybody's like, oh, when there's a foreigner in a drama, it's so random. Because it always is very random.
Yeah, it is very random. Okay, so we have the beautiful Carson here in the studio, and we are looking at all of these fun things. We did say that, you love a lot about Korean, like just culture and everything. I know a lot of my listeners, before we look into more of their questions, right after this next song break, if there were some things that you would tell your friends or like people or like kind of think that you're making your own YouTube channel episode here. If you were to introduce like maybe the top 3 things you have to do, like you have to see this when you come to Korea, like the top at least 1, 2, or 3, like you have to do this if you're here, what would you suggest?
I would definitely suggest taking the KTX somewhere.
Ew.
I love riding the KTX and, seeing the scenery of Korea as you're like in it. I think you really got to get out of Seoul. I think you've got to get out of Seoul, take the KTX somewhere. Or one of my like most favorite memories is when my family took a trip to Jeju. Okay. And we did the mountain. The Harasan,
mountain hike. Wow.
So
did you go to the top?
We did. It's like a 4-hour up, like a 3-hour down.
Yeah. And you actually went at a pretty good pace too. That's a hard hike. And most of the time when people go to Harasan Mountain, it's the weather is never is good for them. Because even when I went up, I only got a chance to go to the halfway mark because the weather turned bad, like mid hike, and they're like, you can't go up. And so we had
dangerous.
Too dangerous. We had to turn around. Wow, so you're one of the lucky ones.
Oh, lucky one. But yeah, I definitely think you just need to get out of Seoul. I mean, of course, there's lots of things to do in Seoul, but if you really want to experience the like beauties of, Korea in itself without all the glitz and glamours of the lights, you really got to get out of Seoul.
True. Okay. We're going to be looking at all of your fun questions in just a few moments. So continue to send in more questions for her. But in the meantime, we got Jessica and Doki on the track with My Lifestyle and more of our insiders coming up next. All right, K-Poppin fam, we got the beautiful actress Carson in the studio today for our insider as the second hour of K-Poppin continues. I'm your host, Isak. We've got some questions to ask. And we got Mamla from Indonesia who was asking a few questions. So how was your second week of the new year? Did anything exciting happen?
Chaotic.
Oh, what? Really? Oh, really?
Yeah, I spent about a month in the States visiting my family, and I got back and literally just like right into work. I like left from the airport. I got here like 5 a.m. I went home, dropped my bags off, and went into 2 meetings, and then just every single day since has just been nonstop. I feel like I'm playing catch up because I was gone for so long.
Wow.
That all of the meetings that people had like piled up, over a month of not being here, I am like bam, 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 bam.
Well, I think that also with like the popularity of When the Camellia Blooms, I think that's also kind of helping there as well. Now, was there anybody who inspired you to be an actress? Mom Lou was really curious if there was.
Growing up, I watched my favorite like show that I would watch was the Canadian drama Anne of Green Gables.
Oh,
so the main actress there, I was like, oh, I just want to be so elegant and beautiful like her, and like acting. And I also grew up watching Harry Potter, and I used to love Emma Watson. I was like, oh my god, I just want to be like her.
Okay, so that was just a big thing for you. Do you currently have an actor crush?
An actor crush? I guess I usually have like just the one that I always say, which is So Gang-jun.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, your taste in men comes out right there. I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, I always tell people, it's either you like the cats or the dogs or whatever. I'm more of a dog guy. He's got to be like cute and like
puppy-like.
You want to like hug,
and cuddle them.
If they're too cool and like I don't know, I feel like I'm not cool enough to be with them. They have to seem like really like nice and like you could hang out with them.
So more like Hang On There, Seo Gang-jun, that kind of style. Somebody who's really sweet. There was a additional message that Mama wanted to send in, and I had to read this to you. By the way, you have really beautiful eyes. I look forward to the next project that you're going to be in. So speaking of busy, you said you've been busy. It's been chaotic. So now that 2020 is here, are we expecting some like exciting stuff? Like,
not so much in the acting world as much as in like the TV entertainment, like TV shows. I don't know, what do you call 예능 in English? Just like
variety shows?
Variety shows.
Wow. So we might be seeing you like on Running Man and stuff like that?
New shows. So there's a lot of, I feel like because it's the beginning of the year, a lot of TV channels are coming up with new TV concepts. So there's a couple shows I might be on regularly.
Okay. Vicky had a question. How long does it take to learn a script for each drama that she's been in?
Because obviously, like, up until now, I haven't had, like, extensive lines, so...
I think out of all the roles that you've done, wouldn't voice
would be the biggest one.
Yeah. You had a lot of lines, a lot of scenes.
I guess I'd say for the voice, it took about a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, these aren't, like, huge roles with, like, 20 pages of dialogue, so it's not too hard.
Okay. So I think, just a few memorizing here and there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if somebody's the main character of something, or you have like a monologue at one point where you're just like talking for pages of, script, that would take quite a bit of time to memorize. But that time for me has not come yet.
Not yet. Now, I mean, you've been able to do, especially last year, you did a lot of different types of roles. I think Helena was also like a very different role because I think you played a lot of different nationalities up until now. From like your start to up until now. I think they've been taking you from a lot of different countries.
Yeah, even in in 2019, I did The Spring Turns into Spring, where I was an American. Then it was Trap, which I'd actually filmed a year in advance, but it came out in 2019 and I played a Russian.
Yeah.
Then what was funny was actually The Voice and When the Camellia Blooms, they were both from Uzbekistan.
Uh-huh.
So I thought that was quite interesting that both those roles chose Uzbekistan. I'm like, out of all the countries, you guys picked the exact same country.
Yeah. That happens. So what would be roles that you would love to do? Like, it doesn't have to be in a Korean drama. Just from now on, like dream big. It can be a Hollywood film. It can be anything. Like, is there a particular role that you would like to play? Like a damsel in distress, like a princess, a businesswoman, or like, try to master like a certain accent, anything.
I guess for Korea, I would love to do. I'm a sucker for the Korean comedy romance.
Oh,
Those are my favorite. Those are the only dramas I watch. If it doesn't have romance, it doesn't have comedy, I won't be watching it. So I would love to have a
love line,
a love line, a love triangle even. Ooh. I would love to do something with a love interest in Korea, of course. That's like, I feel like that is the cookie cutter famous, Korean drama is the romance, Even growing up when I was younger in like middle school, what was popular was like Boys Over Flowers.
Oh, yeah.
Or one of the like first dramas I watched was like Full House, or my name is Kim Samsoon. So I would love to do a romance. As far as like Hollywood or even Korea, like movie wise, I would love to do an action role. I would love to do like FBI, CIA, something, I don't know, something with like action, kick butt, related.
Girl crush.
I want to be that girl crush with, kicking everybody's butt.
Okay. Now, I saw on social media, are you originally a brunette? Or, because I know that we have two different hair colors on your social media accounts. You're currently...
I'm currently blonde, but needing a little bit of root touch up.
So, are you originally a brunette or?
Yes, I am originally a brunette, and so in the year 2017, I got told at least 3 or 4 times that
to be blonde.
That, oh, sorry, they didn't pick you because they're looking for a blonde. Oh, sorry, you can't even audition because the director's only looking to audition blondes. So I ended up dyeing my hair blonde in 2018. And actually, I had been blonde for about a year. And in 2019, I was kind of sick of it. I was just kind of sick of being blonde. I wanted to go back to being brunette. And I had originally planned to surprise everybody on my birthday, which is in March, to dye my hair brunette. And one of my agents called. I'd already told a lot of my agents, too, my plans. Obviously, they need to know. And I got a phone call of like a panicked voice, and she was like, did you dye your hair? And I was like, no, not yet. And she was like, don't. Because both Voice and When the Camilla Blooms were both requested to be blonde. And so here I am today, still blonde.
Okay. So do you think blondes have more fun? Because, there's like the ongoing, like blondes have more fun. So do you feel that blondes have more fun?
I feel that blondes have less money in their pocket. It's so expensive.
It is. And it's painful.
Yeah.
And it's painful. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for today. Anything else any spoilers? I'm really wanting spoilers because we have to say goodbye to you now. And I kind of want spoilers, like any dramas or movies or YouTube channels or anything that we can look forward to.
Ooh, just some TV variety shows in February.
Oh, in February?
Yes.
So right after the Lunar New Year's?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, so fam, we need to keep our eyes out for Carson and more the variety show side of her for this year. And
yes.
I promise they'll be back on the show?
Oh my gosh, yes. Anytime, call me.
All right. She said it on air, so it's an official word of mouth contract. She has to come back. So thank you so much, Carson, for joining us today. As we send her out of the studio, we got Shiny with Terry Countless, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye. Goodbye.